Let me paint a little picture for you guys. The date is September of 2020. I'm a free agent. I just got done with my exclusive negotiation period with Bellator, and it was time for me to go see what it was out there for me on the market. Take a flight to Las Vegas, sit down with Hunter Campbell. I said, Hunter, I want to be a good thing for your organization. I want to fight the top guys right away. Either I am who I say I am or I am not. And he said, all right, dude. I love that kind of mentality. Here at the UFC, that's the kind of mentality that we want. Dudes that come in with their work boots on. They say yes when things are offered to them, when opportunities are offered to them. They don't complain, and they do what they say they're going to do. Just do what you say you're going to do, and things are going to work out fine. Obviously, here we are a couple years later. Things have worked out phenomenally for me, but I want to direct your attention to the lightweight rankings, December of 2020. Obviously, I came in, beat Dan Hooker, who was number 6. So you got Khabib number 1, Gaethje number 2, or I'll call it 2, Poirier number 3, Oliveira number 4, Conor number 5, Ferguson number 6, and then obviously Hooker was right out there. Came in, wanted to fight Poirier, wanted to fight Ferguson. Those are the two guys. They were unmatched up, didn't have a fight booked, and I said, hey, that's what we want to fight. Give us one of the top guys right away. Both of those guys said no, which I do not fault them for it. I think if I was in their position, there was some guy coming in to the UFC from outside the UFC. I know he's a tough dude, but he doesn't quite have the rankings or the clout. It's a kind of a lose-lose situation. They both said no. Lo and behold, Dan Hooker steps up and says yes, and I will forever be indebted to Dan Hooker because he's a real one. You guys saw my video I just did on Dan Hooker a couple weeks ago. It did phenomenally well because who doesn't love Dan Hooker? He's a real one. So he was the guy who stepped up and actually fought me. I beat him, and I end up becoming the number 5 ranked guy as soon as I come into the UFC. But I want to direct your attention to, obviously, Khabib has now retired, and we have Islam as the champion. But we'll get into that in a second. But I have fought Gaethje, Poirier, Oliveira, Ferguson, and now I am scheduled to fight Conor. If he gets his stuff together and we figure out when that fight is going to happen. But don't worry, some talks are happening. The fight is happening for sure. We just don't know when, what month, what date, or even at what weight. But we'll see. But either way, I did what I said I was going to do. When I looked Hunter in the eyes, I shook his hand and said, I want to fight the toughest guys right away. I'm not going to shy away from a tough fight. I don't want to tiptoe around the top 10, top 15. Give me a tune-up fight. Let me get used to the UFC jitters. Let me get used to all this stuff. No, I threw myself head first, face first into the UFC lightweight division with Dan Hooker. I was definitely a huge underdog there. A lot of people thought he was going to knee my chin off into the second round because he had just went 25 minutes with Dustin Poirier. And there was moments in that fight where it looked like he was going to finish Poirier. There was moments in that fight where it looked like he was going to get the better of Poirier. But lo and behold, obviously Poirier wins. But for all those who say, well, Chandler's got a losing record in the UFC, or Chandler doesn't win every fight, Chandler's fight IQ this, Chandler's not that. I get it. It's fine. I love the criticism. I'll take the criticism. This is the position that I put myself in to take said criticism, and I can handle it. It's not that big of a deal. I can sleep at night knowing that I've put myself into the fire. Are you? Are you throwing yourself into the fire every single day? Fighting every single one of these guys, fight of the year against Justin Gaethje, arguably fight of the year against Dustin Poirier. Should have been KO of the year had it not been for Leon Edwards winning the title over Kamaru Usman with the head shot dead. I would have had knockout of the year against Tony Ferguson, and then obviously now being scheduled to fight Conor. Falling short in the title fight. Back then, it's always fun to do a little history lesson. Now Chandler came in, beat number 5 or 6, and didn't deserve to get the title shot. I get it. I didn't think I deserved it either. Whenever Hunter called me, I was in California on a trip, like 10 weeks out from the date, May 5th, I think they were talking about. And he's like, hey, Poirier and Conor are going to fight because they're tied up in that little trilogy thing they want to do. Just got off the phone with Khabib. Khabib said, hey, I'm retiring. I'm not coming back. I'm gone. So that left me and Charles Oliveira, who he was the number 3 guy. I'm the number 5 guy. I just came in and had the debut. It's all about momentum as well. Came in, proved myself against a tough guy who nobody thought I could beat. Go out there, get the first round finish, the backflips, the call outs, all the stuff. But I bring this graphic to you because it's all about doing what you say you're going to do. Maybe I'm not successful every single time I stepped in the octagon, but you felt something. Maybe I didn't win every single time, but you bought tickets. You bought the pay-per-view. You went to the watch party. You did it. So there's kind of an overarching lesson of throwing yourself into the fire, but then also from a, I guess, just from a checking the boxes, A plus B equals C, all of the guys that I have fought are in the top 5 or 6 in the UFC since I came into the organization. Now, obviously, you have the lightweight rankings in July of 2023, which we are currently in right now. Islam is your champion. Him and Charles are going to fight in Abu Dhabi. Poirier and Gaethje are lined up for the BMF title. We're not quite sure what's happened with Dariush, and I'm scheduled to fight and lined up against Connor because we are currently doing the Ultimate Fighter, and that's the fight that's going to happen. We just don't have a date yet. So I just bring this to you because these are the guys that you want to fight. These are the guys that you want to do well against. These are guys that you also don't mind having a fight of the year against, and maybe you lost, maybe you came up short. I think any of these guys fight 10 times, you're going to get a mixed bag of wins and losses, finishes, not finishes, decisions, unanimous decisions, split decisions, because these are the best guys in the entire world. So it's just always funny when people talk about my record in the UFC, or they say I'll never be a champion. That's fine. You can have your opinion. Could care less. But I'm out there doing my thing and fighting the best guys that I possibly can, throwing myself into the fire, testing myself, knowing that someday when I lay the gloves down for the last time and say sayonara, peace out, thanks for the cheddar, I'm gone. I know I fought the toughest guys I possibly could. Went out there, tried to make people feel something, tried to give them an impactful performance, tried to give them an impactful feeling that night, wherever we were at, whether it's Madison Square Garden, whether it's Abu Dhabi, whether it's Houston, whether it's Arizona, whether it's Madison Square Garden again. Hopefully, eventually, Vegas. I would love to fight in Vegas. Little known fact, I might be the only person who's been fighting in these huge fights that we've been doing. Every single fight that I'm in has been huge. It's been, a top five guy, title eliminator type of situation, or a title fight, or a main event. And I've never fought in Vegas. Might be one of the only people assigned to the roster who has fought at that high of a level on these high of caliber of fights in these big venues and not actually fought in Las Vegas yet. So hopefully stay tuned. The next fight is going to be in Vegas against Connor. But the overarching theme here, and the reason I wanted to make this video, was someone sent me this graphic and they said Chandler literally fought the murderer's row of the lightweight division. And I think it's true. And I don't make this video to impress you, to toot my own horn, but I want to do this video to impress upon you that life was made for living. Life was created for you to go out there and create something beautiful, paint a masterpiece. And even if you aren't successful every single time that you compete, step into a cage, go down a certain path, as long as you are following what your heart says, then you're in the top 1% of the top 1%, because everybody's out there. A lot of people are out there living a lie or letting other people dictate what they do with their lives. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Throw your comments down below. Even if your comment is, hey, Chandler, you suck. Hey, Chandler, you ain't good. Hey, Chandler, you got the fight IQ of a rock. We love those too. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in on this channel. Like, subscribe, send this to somebody. If you're on Team Chandler, send this to a Chandler hater and say, hey, but my boy fought the toughest dudes in the entire world. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful, blessed day. God bless. We'll see you at the top.